All right. Hey, y'all. Give me 1 second. 1 second. Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back for our. I'm sorry, y'all. As you all know, we have been doing this mini series of our birth stories for um it's been about 3 weeks now that we've been able to get several women on to kind of share their birth stories and their experiences with pregnancy and childbirth. And we, kind of having this conversation to help us like normalize having the discussion around pregnancy and childbirth, especially in the Black community. So I have been able to, or I've had the pleasure to sit with 6 amazing Black women sharing their experiences. And today is the 7th. And I am so excited because just a little backstory before I bring her on. First of all, this is my cousin, y'all. So I just want to put that out there. And this has been like years and years in the making. So it's Preeclampsia Awareness Month, and I thought she would be another perfect person to have on our birth stories because she also is a preeclampsia survivor. And so when we start having the conversations about preeclampsia and, you know, HELP syndrome and all of the things that come along with that, she has had the ultimate experience. Y'all think my experience was wow? Like her experience is just wow. And so, one of the things that I love is that, she kept pushing and she kept the faith through everything. And so as a result of that, she's also been an advocate for preeclampsia awareness, a patient advocate. She's also um she's also a mom of 2, and she has done such amazing work in the Orlando community raising awareness about preeclampsia. And she is so brave to always just share her story and always just kind of lend a hand and an ear to this cause. And so I'm like so proud of her and so grateful that she agreed to come on and share her story, as as intense and also um as vulnerable as it can be. Like, I just commend any person who had a not so great experience, but are willing to just kind of use their voice and their platform to turn it into a positive for other people. It's just like the ultimate act of like selflessness. And so I want to introduce my cousin to y'all. I call her Nay, but her name is Shavnay, and I want to bring her on so she can, start having a conversation with us. So I'm gonna bring her on.
Hi.
Hey, cuz.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How you feeling?
I'm fine. How you doing? You feeling
Good,
okay?
good. So I already introduced you. I'm glad that you were, willing to, come on and really just like share your story. I know you shared it like several times over in different capacities and on other platforms and things like that. But, I'm grateful that you want to come here like to this audience and share again. Before we do anything, I always like to like give a opportunity for you to just introduce yourself and just tell the people who you are, and just tell them who you are.
Okay. I love to share my story. It's all about awareness. Advocacy does matter. My name is Shavnay. If no one knows, and I have 2 beautiful girls. I had preeclampsia with both of them, but mine was more severe with Janae. And yeah, I just I'm a people's person, so I don't know what else to say.
Okay, no, that's good. That's good. So, I like to like always start off by just letting you introduce yourself, but just start off with like a very general or vague question. And a lot of stuff I already know, but I'm still wanting to ask just so we can share the story for other people.
Okay.
But first, I also want to say like I had started doing a promise walk in 2011, right?
Mhm.
And Nate, you started doing the promise walk in 2012 or 13?
13, because I think
2013.
2012 I was still in Miami with you, and
Okay.
I think I walked with you in 2012, so 2013 when I relocated up to Orlando.
Okay, so she is also a Promise Walk for Preeclampsia coordinator in Orlando, and she's been doing it since 2013. So that's like over 10 years. And so this is just I'm just saying that to show like how dedicated she is to this cause and really just raising awareness and just letting people know like, hey, like this is my experience and wanting people to just know what, what's happening and what's out there. So first, I want to start by asking about growing up. Like, did you ever have any like conversations, or um, was there any talk about like pregnancy, childbirth, or like anything, motherhood, or anything like growing up? What's your memories of like having those types of conversations?
In regards to preeclampsia, or in regards
Just
to
in
like high
general.
risk, um, really nothing. To be honest, nothing, to be honest. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Me growing up, my mom really wanted us to stay a child as long as we could. And
Hmm.
so we were in activities, if it was Girl Scouts, color guard, whatever it was. And I wasn't really interested in looking towards like boys until I was like 18, 19, and then I got married and stuff like that. So I really, and maybe it was because I didn't ask those questions,
Hmm.
but I those conversations weren't really had, and so I
Hmm.
needed to have those conversations.
Yeah. Well, when you say like until you needed to have those conversations, so let's say as you got older or even
Mm.
when you got married, were there any conversations around I mean when you got pregnant, like were there any conversations around how your childbirth should go, or did you have any idea of what that would be like?
Honestly, I didn't think that I was able to get pregnant at first, because I have my neurological disease, pseudotumor cerebri. A lot of women that I do know, because it's a rare disease, but some of the women I do know, they are unable to get pregnant, or they have like rough pregnancies. So I just thought it wouldn't happen for me. So I was
Mhm.
shocked when I did get pregnant. And I didn't think it was going to be complicated at all for some reason. I just thought it was going to be nice. I even planned it at a birth center. I didn't, I didn't even go to like a regular hospital. And even though I had like the neuro background, I should have thought of that. But um, it just and even when I picked the doctor at the birthing center, she didn't even see an issue with that at all. She was just like, "Oh yeah, you'll be fine," type thing.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, okay, you said that the neurological disease. So what is it called again?
It's called pseudotumor cerebri. So what it is it happens to 1 out of 100,000 women, and it's fluid that mimics a brain tumor, but there's no brain tumor present, and it's extra spinal fluid. So for that, I had to have a shunt place. So I'm hearing when I had Ariel that I should have delivered at like a trauma center just in case anything would have happened. So I'm just surprised that the birthing I had Janae at the birthing center, but at that time I was only 22. I didn't know to say like this was a good idea or if it wasn't. And if the doctor said it was a good idea, I just went with the medical professional.
Got you, got you. So Ed, okay, so let me back up. So you were not planning your pregnancy. I guess that's the
Mm-mm.
question I have. Like,
No.
okay, so there was like no plan, but once you got pregnant, did you have like I know you so I guess to some extent you planned because you did it, you were planning to have you was planning to have the birth at a birthing center, right?
Hmm.
So was there any other like plans in place, like once you got pregnant, like what was your idea of how you were going to give birth, or did you have any plans at all?
So once I found out I was pregnant and I was like, I'm gonna have her at the birthing center. I'm gonna go natural. And then it was gonna the birthing center was kind of set up at like a home environment type thing. It looks like a hotel
Mm,
inside the rooms. I just wanted it to be a peaceful environment. So my plan was less medicine as possible was my original plan. But it definitely didn't go that way.
yeah. I think that's like the common thing, like this what the plan was, but clearly it was not the plan. It
Yes,
wasn't
it
that
definitely did go that way.
way. Okay, so tell me a little bit about like your pregnancy as it started to progress. So you said that, well, you didn't really say, so when you talking about like after I got pregnant, I found out, like what was that whole journey like? Like what was the experience with your first pregnancy?
It was terrifying. It was terrifying because I just immediately I found out my blood pressure immediately started to rise. So then
Mm.
I questioned um did I make the right choice picking the birthing center or should I go somewhere else? And what really made me terrified
Hold on now, I can't hear you. Hold on 1 second. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Mm-mm. You try to mute and unmute and see if it worked. Mm-mm. Hold on. Mm-mm. Try. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. Look, this stuff happened. It happened the last session too, so it's okay. See if you can log out and log back in and see if that worked. All right, y'all. Y'all know how this technology goes. So just hang in there, hang in there, hang in there. We coming. Um, so we're gonna get to the rest of her experience as soon as she gets back in. But I find like that's a common thing whenever we talk into like different women from the community, like there really is not a lot of conversation growing up. Not saying like we have to talk in grand detail, but even just sharing our stories. Like I'm not even really even talking about the scientific or the biological part of sharing our story, but just more or less our experience and what it was like. Like it's so hard for us to just find someone who says like, yes, like my mom, like she always talk about how she did, this or that, or like whatever the experience was, or anybody around us. So now I was just filling in till you came back, but I was just kind of speaking on how it's a really common theme that we don't really talk about childbirth,
Mm-mm.
pregnancy, growing up. So
No.
just sharing that. But okay, so we can get back.
Okay.
So I know you were talking about you started having high blood pressure early. Like how early would you say? Like how many weeks were you?
I would say when I went back for the second time, so it was like at my third month like checkup, my
Mhm.
blood pressure was high. Not like extremely high, but it was high for me. Like 140s over something. And because I've had since I because I had the neuro back history, that's when she had a high risk started to follow me. And it just kept increasing after that. And then even the 24-hour urines were bad as well. And then she had also a liver doctor follow me as well. And I'm just like, you're having all these different doctors follow me, why won't you just transfer me to the high risk doctor? And there was conversations I had with the high risk doctor, and he was like, it's up to your primary OB for me to, get you as a patient. But she just wouldn't let me go. And it just angered me so much because it's just like, it's my body, but I can't even advocate for myself about who I want to see, you know? and who I want to, handle my care. But I just feel like because of that, that's why the delivery, in my personal opinion, just went so left.
Yeah.
Because it was done at the birthing center, and only certain things are at the birthing center, and
Right.
most of everything is at a hospital, especially a trauma center. They have all the resources.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I just still, that part really frustrates me.
Got
It's
you. No,
like, everybody, let patients advocate for themselves, as well as, I understand that the medical providers, and also, they have their licenses for a reason, so they know a lot more than the patients do, but patients know their own bodies.
hmm
So that I still don't understand that part, why she never released me when I was
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, that's a big, and that's another topic of conversation because oftentimes, like, we'll tell our medical providers, like, hey, this is what's happening. And it's just like, okay, everything is not a textbook explanation and don't need to be. So if I'm telling you that I'm experiencing this, or you already can see I'm
hmm
all of these things, like, why not transfer me to somebody who is who's better equipped to deal with what I'm going through, right?
right.
So that was absolutely kind of selfish of her, but also not professional, because it's like, girl,
Yeah, right.
you ain't
I don't
if you ain't
understand.
qualified, you ain't qualified.
I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say it, but yes, I really think it was an arrogant thing. I really do. And
Yeah.
yeah, because I was looking at my documents of my medical history from when I was admitted, over not just my delivery but my whole pregnancy, and it was just like everything was just escalating from like day one, and I'm just like, why didn't she say enough is enough, but I tried to reach out to her a couple months ago to see if I can just sit down and have a conversation with her, but she declines. um
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure she still remembers me though. I'm pretty sure. No, because my family said that she left the OR and she was like pacing.
Wow.
Yeah, she left the OR. She was pacing because she was so nervous.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm sorry just to even hear that, because it's like, especially when you hear like about a lot of like near death experiences and people who had like super traumatic experiences, like when you go back and you look at things, you be like, oh, this probably could have been avoided. Oh, this could have been, some, I mean, we always could look back and say something could have been done differently. However, it's like when it's clear, like, okay, why wasn't this call made? It just seemed, it's traumatizing and it's kind of nerve-wracking. So I definitely understand that. um so you saying like throughout the entire pregnancy there was like just a lot of bumps in the road and just a lot of things going on. Can you walk us through like nearing towards delivery? Like, what was that experience like for you?
Okay, so the actual delivery I don't remember, but I remember the day of delivery, and I was trying to figure out like why I don't remember it, but I found the magnesium flow sheets, so they had me on a lot of magnesium, like for like 48 hours, and so I was
Oh,
like, oh,
wow.
okay, all three shifts. Um, so I actually had an appointment with a liver specialist, and I guess he was going to check like my liver enzymes or whatever. And I remember driving myself there, and it was at Baptist Hospital. It was in Oklahoma, and I drove myself there. As soon as you get there, they check your blood pressure, like a regular doctor's appointment, and mine couldn't be read.
Mm-hmm.
And it just made him really nervous. And he told me to go over to the hospital where they're supposed to deliver me at, and he already called ahead. And the only thing that I had issues with that was that if you were so concerned, the Baptist is a trauma hospital. I
Okay.
understand that, you wanted me to be with my OB, which is at the birthing center. But I feel like it was an emergency if my blood pressure wasn't. I feel like he should have sent me to the ER. That's what I feel like.
Yeah.
Because after Janae was delivered, they had flew her back over to Baptist. So we were separated. We were in two different hospitals.
Wow.
So yeah, I drove myself in to Lakeside Women's Hospital. And then I remember having a seizure. And that's the last thing I remember. And I
Wow.
was just, I was told I had a seizure, but that's the last thing I remember.
Right. Oh my
And then I
goodness.
remember when I woke up, they told me Janae was in another hospital and she was intubated because she had trouble breathing and some other issues. But
Wow. Um, so how many weeks were you when you delivered? Like what was how many weeks were you?
37 weeks and 2 days.
Okay. Oh, I think I was 37 weeks and 1 day. Oh, that's okay, so 37 weeks, which is kind of so were they able to like stabilize your blood pressure over that time? Like were you taking medication? Like what
No,
they took for that?
cousin, it got worse.
Oh
It
no.
got worse because they thought they gave me the magnesium after I delivered and they thought I was okay. I remember waking up and I went and got Janae. Um and then we stayed in the hotel because I was ready to leave Oklahoma. My family I want to go back to Miami, be with my family. And
Mm-hmm.
then we literally drove 23 hours to Miami right
Wow.
after I was discharged and Janae was just discharged. We drove to my Aunt Cindy's house, got there. They came, got the baby, left me in the car. They just wanted to see the baby.
Not just left
They wanted to see. They asked me if I was okay, but they got the baby out the car. And
hmm
then I had to be follow up at Memorial West for my blood pressure. For I was on medication for about 7 months. That I do remember.
mm Okay. So was
And
there any go ahead, sorry.
no, I was gonna say when she delivered Janae, the shunt is a pump, and then the tubing comes down and goes into my stomach. It fell out because it was an emergency cesarean. I don't know. I was reading the medical records, and it says that she sanitized it with some holy water. Don't know what holy water. Yeah, that's what it say. It says sanitize shunt with holy water to try to avoid infection. That's what it say. Don't know what holy water is. So, but
Ooh,
I got an infection. I did get a brain infection. I was admitted to for 2 months. So, and then I had two brain surgeries back to back because of that infection.
wow. We might have to do the same thing, eh? Mm-mm. Try to see if okay. Um, I think that happened like when somebody tried to call, but that so you all here, right? Like if you're watching, like just kind of think about and take into consideration like how a lot of the stories that we've shared so far, and it's not every pregnancy, obviously, but we here for a specific reason to talk about the things that we don't talk about. Like these are like that's insane to me. Like if you are advocating for yourself, if you're saying like, hey, this is what's happening with me, like I guess like the expectation is that you're taken seriously and not just like we just gonna keep doing what we want to do. Like that's it's wild to me. um okay,
There's
so it's wild. Like I just can't understand. I just don't understand it. And I guess, like you say, like the medical professionals, they have their way of doing things. I guess they're reasoning, but sometimes they don't. And that's the thing that I just always
Yeah.
think about, even fast forward to my own health stuff. It's like, listen, at this point, I already know the routine. So
Right.
if I say do this, do this. Okay,
Right.
like, that's it. But
Right.
I get it. Like sometimes, like when you're a first time mom, like you don't really know. So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm gonna just trust that this person know what they doing. But that just again speak to the importance of us having these conversations, because if you can just imagine, um, oh, Nate, somebody say, can you put your phone on do not disturb to see if that'll keep from the phone calls, or you don't want the girls or something to try to call you.
No, they are here.
Oh, okay. So,
How do I
oh,
look?
child, that's a whole. Don't worry about it. Because
Look,
I can't even talk you through it. 'Cause I don't even
and
really
that,
know.
and
But that's okay.
it's
Don't worry
my family who don't live with me. I'm like, y'all not looking at the
about it.
video? Y'all calling me. I already told y'all to tune in.
Oh, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right, y'all. Um, so I was just thinking that, it's just like I just don't get it. So after you came down, you had to have the two brain surgeries.
Hmm.
Were there any signs of like postpartum preeclampsia? Like, did you have high blood pressure still? Like, what
I
was?
still had I had Janae in June, and then immediately I had headaches. I had the brain surgery, I want to say in July. And then it got affected. As soon as they did it, it got affected. Then they had to go back and redo it. And so um but I was on blood pressure medicine probably until about February.
Mm,
Um, and then that postpartum depression hit. Oh Lord. But it was mainly because I felt like I didn't really get the bond with my daughter. As soon as we get down there, I had to go back in the hospital. I was just so angry. I was so angry, you know. So yeah, it was a crazy one. It really was.
I know, like that's and it is a lot, like, and it's such a vulnerable time, like, and then to have so many transitions happening at once, and then not to be able to be with your baby, like that's a lot of things on one plate. So I could definitely understand that, and like then on top of that, the depression and just like just dealing with your own emotions and your hormones
Mhm.
all out of trying to find its way back on top of surgeries, like that is a lot. So I could definitely see how frustrating of a time that could have been. When we think about like your experience moving forward, how much later did you get pregnant the second time?
Almost 3 years.
Okay.
Almost 3 years, and which she was definitely you know how people say, how could it be a surprise if you didn't prepare? But she was definitely a surprise, because I was told that, because how complicated Janae was that it wasn't really, they didn't really think I was going to be able to do it again. So she was definitely surprised, and I was definitely scared. But I'm gonna say I really had a better team. I definitely had a
Mhm.
better team. I was seen at a high risk department. It was Orlando Health High Risk. I still remember the address, 89th and Copeland. Like, they definitely saved my life. I'm not. The only really thing with them, I did have some preeclampsia with Ariel. It was mild. It wasn't as severe as Janae. They and then I had cholestasis. Um, and then I also had in definitely some depression and postpartum.
Mm.
Um, I had I was going through my divorce. Like, as soon as I got pregnant with Ariel, like literally the next week, I started my divorce process.
Wow.
And Winnie Palmer, which is with Orlando Health, they have a group called Mothers Matters, and it's free for um, people who are, well, women who are pregnant or postpartum who need that extra support, um, through pregnancy or as soon as they're done, giving birth. And it's provided free for them. And it's located inside the high risk building at the time. I don't know if they moved it. And I was followed by one of the social workers. And I saw her every single time I had an appointment. And even if I didn't have an appointment, I would just call her and go see her. And then also, she was there when we had our meetups in our groups,
Mm.
which was Tuesdays and Thursdays. But what sent me spiraling out of control was um, 8 months into my pregnancy, she passed away.
The doctor?
The social worker.
Oh,
Yeah, the social
oh,
worker passed away.
mm,
And they buried her February 13th of 2010, and February 13th of 2014, and February 10th is when I had to have Ariel for
mm.
preeclampsia. And it was just a lot. Um and I was definitely down for a while about that. So I'm just gonna say pregnancy is not my thing. I'm done with it. Um, but I support whoever goes through with it. I will hold your hand. I will pray for you. I'll go with you to your appointments. I'll be that rock for you. But it's definitely not my thing. God
It's
just wanted me to
definitely a
have
no
them
go
too.
for me.
No more. I'm trying to tell you, God
It's
said
a
them
no more
two,
for
and that's
me.
it. That's it.
I
No.
just listen to child. We in the same club. So okay. First of all, I'm sorry to hear about your social worker because we talk about that too, about how like maternal mental health, which I think we just had maternal mental health day or like
Mm,
sometime last week, I believe. But how important of a piece that is, especially when we talk about prenatal depression, postpartum depression, like those things are real. And
mm-hmm,
so we don't talk about the need to have, social workers and therapists in place during that time. Like
mm-hmm.
that
It's
was a
definitely a
that was a
need.
resource. That was an asset for you because you the first person I ever heard say that they was seeing a therapist while they was pregnant, or they
Yeah.
was seeing a therapist while they was pregnant. Like I literally the first time.
It's
So for me, that's a big deal because it's like, dang, this has been something that I guess was available, but how many people know that? Like
mm,
I didn't know that. You know what I mean? Like I had no idea that there were people who could specialize in that at the time. So for us to, to even know that and for you to put that out there, like that's a resource, y'all. So if you know any moms who might be pregnant or think about getting pregnant or anything, like, refer them or, recommend that they search for a therapist or like a prenatal therapist, somebody who specializes in maternal mental health, because it can definitely help with those transitions and things that's happening that sometimes we just stay silent about. So Nay, when you had okay, so you had preeclampsia during the second pregnancy.
mm-hmm.
How many weeks were you when your blood pressure, well, whenever you started to have symptoms?
I was probably mid, so I was about 5 months, but they were already worried about me, so I was already seeing them every 2 weeks. I was
Okay.
already ever since the beginning of my pregnancy with high risk. I was already going in like every 2 weeks to see them.
So that was good because you was, they could keep a real close eye, but like you said, it was a better experience and a better team
It
this time that
was.
you were with. Um, so now when you delivered Ariel, how many weeks were you when you delivered her?
I was 37 weeks on the dot.
Okay. Okay. So 37 weeks, pretty much full term.
Mhm.
What was that birthing experience like for her? Because now you giving birth at the hospital, right?
Yes, at
Oh,
an amazing hospital. Better food too, girl. Oh my
okay.
god. At an
Shout out
amazing
to Orlando.
yes, yes. Um, it was better. Everybody was prepared. As I said before, they had my history. They knew that they were going to deliver her at 37 weeks, so it wasn't like they rushed to deliver her or anything like that. And I was on mag right after I delivered Ariel. She was taken to NICU for a little bit, but then she was brought into her regular nursery. So her preeclampsia was really mild when I had her. Hers was mainly the main thing in pregnancy I had with her was postpartum depression, but my preeclampsia experience with Ariel, because of my history with Janae and my medical team took it more serious, was milder.
Got you, got you. So I want to tap into like the postpartum depression part. So after you had Ariel, um, talk a little bit about like the like how did you know like that you were experiencing depression, or like what was that experience like?
Um, so how I knew I was experiencing depression after I had Ariel was just my appetite was gone. Not really wanting to form, like, I knew I loved her, but it's just like I felt unworthy to hold her. You
Mm,
know, I just I was just sad, you know. I blamed myself even though I knew it wasn't, my fault for being now a single mother instead of a two-parent household, because it was a domestic violence situation. So I just felt so bad and alone. And I knew that I had my family there, but I just felt like the reason why I went to that support group because I had more women that were pregnant or they were postpartum and they had other things that they were going through in their life. And so they knew, you know, what it felt like. You know what I'm saying? Like they knew where I was going through at that time, you know. So I just felt like I definitely felt unworthy.
mm,
And so I needed someone to talk to, not to tell me that I'm worthy, but somebody that I can connect with.
mm, got you. At what point did you start to see like some of the symptoms of depression start to like subside or like go away? Like how long would you say like that whole process was for you?
Honestly, it was about a year because a lot transactioned. Like, I had to have the two surgeries. I had to heal. We're talking about with Ariel, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry. Because I had it with Janae too.
Mm-hmm.
So after, honestly, it took a while because after I don't want to say the lady's name, but after she passed away, um, I felt alone because I wanted to, automatically go share Ariel, show her who she helps me out with her, and go meet with the other women. But now I felt like even though I still had the other women in that group, I no longer felt a connection there anymore because she wasn't there. Um, I just, it really just, I had to go to church. I had to pray more. I had to like find that loving connection within myself. I feel like when you go through depression, it's nothing that no one can actually help you with. Like far as like validate yourself, validate you. You have to validate yourself. So I just had to walk that out. But it was just nice to have someone walk it out with me. Especially people that um who knew what was going on. But I just feel like since she passed away, I just didn't have that group anymore, even though they were hurting as well. um it just was hard to go and sit there and face them knowing that she wouldn't be there. So it definitely took a while, about a year. It definitely took about a year.
Yeah. Um, so you said that you also had to have the brain surgery after Ariel as well. Did
Hmm.
Okay. So what was the process for that? Because I think I remember you saying after the first pregnancy, um it was because the something happened with the tube, right? Like,
Hmm.
so what happened after the second pregnancy that that kind of prompted the surgery?
Well, nothing happened when it came to delivery. It's just the I have a shunt. So sometimes the shunt just works and sometimes it fails.
Mm,
And it failed and I had to have it replaced. So I that's just
okay.
what happened. I just had to have it redone, and I had to go to Miami at the time to have it replaced, and my family stepped in and took care of the kids. But um, yeah.
Got you, got you. So going through like both pregnancies, would you, if you knew then what you know now, like would you have done anything differently? Like, is there something you would have changed if you could?
Um, I would have definitely picked a hospital. I would definitely research my provider better, and I'm not saying she's a horrible provider, because I think just like providers are people, and I feel like they learn just like people learn by making mistakes and by going through life. And like I looked her up, and she has real good reviews. She changed to a different state, but she has real good reviews. So I'm pretty sure she learned. And I just want I would have really took my time and found a good provider, and I would have interviewed with them and told them like my history, and asked them, if such and such happens, how would you handle this situation? I feel like I wish I would have been more educated about pregnancy, instead of just tickle pink, you know, because soon as the I don't want to say that word, but soon as things got scary, I was lost. I didn't have nothing to do. I didn't advocate for myself because I didn't know what to say. I never been through this situation before.
Mhm.
So if I would have just really took my time and invested into, my provider and the location, instead of just wanting the cute pink box to deliver out of, you know, um, I feel like maybe it would have been a different outcome. But then I know everything happens for a reason, and regardless,
They still y'all stop calling her. It's okay. Go ahead. Log out and come back. So, wow, like this is, like when you hear certain stories, like oftentimes, and I mean, let's not even get into, or we haven't really even spoke about how, when you experience like chronic illness and things of that nature on top of pregnancy, like that's a double, like it's just a double, I don't want to say whammy, it's just like a double thing to deal with or extra thing to deal with. And so what you were saying, Nate, is, is valid. Like
Mhm.
by me having these health issues already, golly, these health issues already, like I want to be concerned and ask questions and know, more about, but, like you say, things happen for a reason and we know that. It's just,
Mhm.
I'm just asking, like, of course we can't change it. But now that we know better, it's like now we know how to, advocate
Exactly.
for us, advocate for ourselves, how to,
Yeah.
questions to ask. Like these are things like we just learn along the way.
Yeah.
So, um, irregardless that we can't change it, it's still a learning lesson for us, especially by
Yeah.
us able to live to tell a story. So,
No, absolutely. And it shows me as well, if I have to go see a doctor, or if I have to go follow up with new specialty, like this does show me, my past does show me how I need to act in the future. I'm very skeptical with just jumping. Okay, so what
yeah,
type of patients do you see? Have you seen my case? Okay, now, so yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree with what you're saying.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, um, if you had one piece of advice that you could give a Black mama about embarking on a pregnancy journey, like what piece of advice would you give her?
I would say enjoy it, but the um you are the captain of your ship. You are in charge of your own body. And don't let no one tell you that you are okay if you don't feel okay. And this is exactly what Fatia told me when I was pregnant with Janae. If you don't feel good, you need to just go get checked out. And if you go get checked out and they say you're fine, but you still don't, if you still don't feel fine, ask for a second opinion, because at the last in the at the last minute, you I'm just trying to say you only have one body.
Yeah, yeah.
And you only have one body, and this is a blessing that you're carrying. So at the end of the day, be your own advocate. And if you
Mhm.
need somebody to advocate with you, call us.
Yeah, there you go. Like, no, absolutely. And people, I guess it's comforting to know like people have a village available. Like
Oh
it,
yeah,
you
definitely.
have
And it's a
people
big
available.
village. You got a big
Mm-hmm.
village.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So I want you to, well, is there anything else like, I know I just asked a few questions, but I want to give you an opportunity if you wanted to add some things or share something we didn't talk about specifically or tell, the audience anything that you want them to know.
Um, I just appreciate the audience, and I appreciate my cousin Fatia. I ask you guys to keep tuning in because she is literally trying to spread the awareness, and she is a survivor. She has been through so much, and she always meets and greets people with a smile, regardless on how she feels. And just at the end of the day, I just want to say smile. You never know how people feel. And just that smile can turn people's day. And also, I have the preeclampsia event coming up in Orlando. It's going to be June 15th at Greater Trinity Baptist Church. I hope some people can come out, or everybody can come out if you are in the area. And we would love to see you there. We're just going to advocate like we always do every year. And thank you guys for tuning in. Comment if you can, share if you like. But it's all about spreading the awareness.
Nay, what's the date for the event again?
It's June 15th, and it's
June
at 10
15th.
a.m.
Okay. I'm putting that right now in the chat. So, and what you could do now is when we log out, post the link inside the comments. I'm gonna also recap the caption, and I'm gonna put the link there too, so we can, so it'll be up for everybody. And you said that it is where? What's the location?
It's Greater Trinity Baptist Missionary Church. It's a long church name, but it's a powerful church. That's why it's a long church name.
Got you. And okay, Orlando. Okay, so we'll get y'all the information. I definitely just wanted to put it in the chat real quick, but the Orlando Preeclampsia Awareness event is June 15th. So I'll recap everything. We'll get the links out to you all so y'all can, register or you know where to find Nate. Nate, thank you. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you. I love you.
Love you too.
Um, I'm proud of everything that you're doing. Like I say, like just your dedication, even with life, just happening, you still keep this close to your heart, like just making sure people are aware, just making sure people have a support system, just making sure people have the knowledge. I admire you for that, for real. Like that is it is absolutely something, especially like I said, when you can take your own experiences, even when they've been traumatic, and help somebody else. You know what I mean? Like it's just the ultimate act of selflessness. So I love you. We're
Love you
gonna
too.
put this stuff and we're gonna put the event in the chat. We're gonna try to blow this up. I need y'all, if y'all in the Orlando area, make sure you sign up, make sure you register. We want to see more faces. If you know anybody who experienced preeclampsia, if you know anybody who um, had near death experiences with preeclampsia or any other outcomes, make sure that y'all sign up, especially if you're in Orlando or surrounding areas. Okay. So Nay, we gonna talk. I'm gonna go ahead and recap everything, and thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you for
Um,
having me.
And y'all tune in. We got more coming. If you haven't seen any of the previous episodes, all of them are up. So y'all run this up, share the live, send it to your friends and family. It's going to be on all platforms: YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. So, all right, y'all. We will see y'all on the next go round. Thank you, Nay.
Bye.
All right, y'all. Later.